Yeah, well, welcome everybody. It's great to see all your happy faces here. Happy New Year. Hope people had a chance to have a little bit of downtime over the holidays, although for some people I know they seem like years away about now. But welcome. It's great to see everybody. So for our records, the time now is 6:32 and the meeting will officially start. As president of our chapter, I'm hosting the AGM this evening with Jalyn Anderson, our Madam Secretary, joining us, and Kim Leach is going to be helping us produce because we've got a number of polls for the various motions this evening. So it's our responsibility, as you know, to run the chapter as part of our governance is of an association, is that we have our annual general meeting. We are a board of volunteer directors with all of our many volunteers who make up the organization with the support of virtual options. And the AGM is one of our annual events. It's the opportunity that you all have to give your voice in terms of who do you want on your board and whether you support our reporting on our finances, etc. So looking forward to that conversation this evening. Before we get started, I would like to begin this evening by taking a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land that we call home. And for that, I'm just going to do a screen share here, and you can follow along. Here we go. So we acknowledge the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat peoples. These territories are the enduring home to many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples from across Turtle Island. We also recognize that we are hosted on land covered by Treaty 13, held by the Mississaugas of the Credit. Takaranto is subject to the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, which bound the Anishinaabeg, Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee peoples to peacefully share and protect the lands of the Great Lakes. In the spirit of this covenant, we're grateful to be able to meet, create, and grow together in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect on this ancestral land. So please just join me, take a moment, and recognize the land that we're on this evening. Thank you. So here's the agenda for the first half hour of our evening this evening before George takes over and helps us learn about Mondays. So first of all, I wanted to talk about ask about our quorum. We did have some proxies in before this evening, and so I wanted to just check with Jalyn on our status right now at this stage of the meeting with respect to our quorum.
Thank you, Madam President. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all keeping well. It's quite chilly these days in Toronto. I am stalling because we are close to quorum. We have 107 people, including all of our proxies. At this point, we need 117. What I would suggest is let me explain quorum, see if we have a few more people join, and then if not, then we will go to majority rule. At the ICF, any membership meeting, such as the annual general meeting or other special meetings of the chapter, a quorum shall consist of no less than 10% of the ICF chapter members in good standing. All actions taken by said members shall be implemented by the ICF Toronto Board of Directors. Quorum may also be formed by proxy voting. If at some point we find that quorum has not been formed, we do follow Robert's Rules of Orders. And as such, what it says is, if a bare majority of the members is present at a meeting which was properly called, properly constituted, and provided for, a majority of vote, which means a majority of those who are present shall be sufficient to make the act of the body unless it suspends a rule or right of a member. So at this point, we have 64 proxies that have been put in. We have 46 people on the line, that's 110. I see this as a majority rule situation. And if we have 7 more people, we will be duly, it will be duly noted as forming quorum. But I think we can proceed at this point, Madam President, with the meeting as constituted.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jelen. Really appreciate that. So as a matter of due process, just wanted to remind everyone that the agenda was circulated the 40 days in advance of the meeting, along with the minutes from last year's AGM and the financial statements and bylaws and the board slate. So all of the pieces that we're going to have motions on this evening. So the following motions that you'll see throughout tonight are really for members only. That guests are not allowed to vote on these motions. So first of all, the first motion is to adopt the agenda as circulated for the ICF Toronto Annual General Meeting on today. May I have a seconder?
I will second.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. So all in favor?
Yay.
Any abstentions? Any noes?
We would ask you all to complete the poll that has been launched by our producer, Kim. And we're just waiting for people to reply. If you've seen a pop-up box appear on your screen, if you would answer yes, no, or abstain, that would be terrific. Just click on the word.
See, we have 76% participated of our attendees this evening. Great. So, Madam Secretary, can we move forward with 77%?
We can, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have the motion then is passed to adopt the agenda as circulated. So the second motion is to approve the AGM minutes from last year as circulated. May I have a seconder, please?
I'll second it. It's Barb.
Thank you, Barb. Again, you'll see the poll in front of you now. This is on the minutes for last year. Please vote. You can see the votes coming in there. We'll give you a few more minutes to get your vote in for the approval of last year's minutes.
Thanks, Jane. We've achieved majority.
Great, thank you. Great. Okay, so just a reminder, of, again, what we're, oh, sorry, I'm going to share the results there. Okay, so tonight we're going to have the president's update, the financial report, the election of our new board of directors, and membership opportunity for any membership motions. We're going to be talking specifically about the bylaws and any other new business that any member has. We are going to have an open question about that as well. So this year, you may have noticed ICF has a new milestone that was hit with 50,000 members in over 150 countries. So ICF Global is really growing, and ICF Toronto has had just a banner year as well. We now have 1,171 ICF Toronto chapter members, and these chapter members in good standing can vote on chapter business and run for chapter leadership positions. So I would encourage people to think about leadership positions, to volunteer with the chapter, and consider other leadership committees and other roles that are available to our members. So when you think about the ICF Global, their vision is coaching is being an integral part of a thriving society. and every ICF member representing the highest quality of professional coaching. And from this vision, we created our own vision for ICF Toronto as a thriving community that shapes marketplace awareness of professional coaching and ICF credentialed coaches. Our mission is supporting membership through learning and networking, as well as leading the advancement of the coaching profession. So a lot of our corporate outreach, our community outreach, is geared to really be that leader and advance the coaching profession in the communities that we serve. The core values for ICF Toronto are inclusion, right? And I'm really proud this year of the DEI work that we did in support of this core value. Collaboration, how we come together, and the connection that we've had through our member meetings and the networking. Fun. We think about the last exercise of the Evolve conference this year. I think I've never had so much fun on a Zoom call all my life. And transformation, and that is the development of the organization. And we have a lot of advancement within the organization as well. So really, every member living these values is something that we strive for. A few years ago, we created a 3-year strategic plan, and the strategic plan involved creating a real enhanced sense of community as a chapter, increasing the mastery of through our professional development opportunities for both our members as well as guests, and enhancing that understanding of professional coaching among that community in the marketplace in which coaches try to develop their practices, expanding engagement of ICF volunteers, and finally building a sustainable chapter with that foundational infrastructure that can help ensure that we have efficient, sustainable processes. And with board members coming and going every couple of years, that process piece is a really important piece for that stability in the organization. Really proud this year of the growth that we've had in our membership. We saw kind of flat year-over-year growth when the first year of COVID, and this year we saw a 30% year-over-year increase in the number of members in our chapter. And I'm proud to say that we are now the 4th largest chapter in the world. A couple of years ago, we were number 6, but now we are number 4. And this is a credit to all of our members who create this sense of community that really draws people in. And of course, our board have worked so hard to create the thriving community that we have. But so many new coaches that I've talked to over the years, they come to an ICF Toronto meeting, even if it's a virtual meeting, and they feel this sense of connection. People have welcomed them, and that's just wonderful to see. And it's being reflected here in the numbers and how fast we're growing as an association. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of that, for advocating on behalf of ICF in the communities, and encouraging other coaches to join. Thank you. So in 2021, we had great success, and I'm back there. I want to thank Alicia for this beautiful slide. Membership grew by 30%, as we talked about. We also introduced the new member handbook. So Jenny Barkin, our Director of Membership, had this vision for what she wanted to create, again, to help people really understand what they were joining and how to participate more fully. So that was one key deliverable, a success from this year. Our marketing following on LinkedIn grew by 35% this year. Again, another large growth of our social media, which we had just started a few years back. Our DEI strategy, diversity, inclusion, equity, there's a team that worked so hard all last year, really came together as a team, did absolutely amazing work, followed design thinking principles, and really was a great role model of what a diverse, inclusive community looks like in their work together. And they created a set of recommendations, and the board is going to be meeting to start the planning on those recommendations in a couple of weeks' time. So some great work there in the creation of a very robust strategy. You'll be hearing more about that in very short order. Jenny also introduced a survey in December, and we had the highest response rate ever. 481 members participated in the survey. So we were absolutely thrilled with that hearing from our members, listening to what's important, and we're using that information as we go into our strategy meeting to ensure that all the work that we do as a board is aligned with what our members really want. The conference, Evolve 2021. Well, Robin Mahadeva just did an outstanding job with her team on creating an amazing conference. It was successful on every metric that we use, including the participants, right? And this is the most important one. We really care about how are people experiencing the conference, and we had some excellent participation feedback from those who participated in the conference. Gabby Camero has been leading our community outreach program, and this year she did an amazing job with the International Coaching Week. There were 46 coaches involved, 14 different organizations involved, and many coaches who donated their time doing pro bono coaching to serve these not-for-profit organizations in our community. A number of those ended up joining Coach Connect, which is another pro bono coaching program that ICF Toronto offers, again, led through Gabby. So hats off to Gabby for all of her work and the team in creating that great success. You'll see the financials in a few minutes, but suffice it to say that we did have a solid financial year again. And this year we made an investment in Microsoft 365 as a tool and that allows us to work more effectively as a board, more effectively with our volunteers, and so it's a really excellent tool that we're still got some growing pains in terms of knowing how to use it most effectively and how to take advantage of it, but we've got the infrastructure there now. In terms of our conferences, our partnerships, we've had some great opportunities with new conference sponsors, with the ICF ACMP Global Task Force. There were 4 events last year that through that corporate outreach program that Alicia and Jalan were really leading. It's fantastic work that they were doing to continue to develop our partnerships. On programming, Shahab Hanari and Kirk Fox were really instrumental in creating a great set of professional programming for our coaches. There were 56 CCEUs available, 922 attendees, so very strong programming, and we're off to a great start this year already with some amazing programming scheduled for the year. The International Coach Federation has a coaching and organizations arm, and Alicia and Jalan provided some excellent recommendations on chapter rollout for this program to ensure that we would be strong as a community and maintain a lot of those relationships that we have with corporations. So I mentioned the member survey. Just you might be interested. We'll be communicating the results a little bit more broadly in a few weeks, but here's a couple of our key things that we thought was notable, wanted to share, just about the percentages holding various credentials who are our members, as well as the geography, right? So you can see that we are very much an organization that goes beyond Toronto and even beyond the GTA, with 22% of respondents outside of the GTA area. And with all of our I think through COVID, we found that we've moved even more farther afield in terms of our members. There is not an ICF chapter in Manitoba, so we have a number of members even from Manitoba who are part of the ICF Toronto chapter. So really a broad geography, and we want to make sure that we continue to serve that broad audience that we have. In completing this survey in December, you told us that professional development events were the #1 thing that you valued. Virtual networking was #2, and conference #3, volunteer opportunities, the in-person monthly meetings, and the annual awards program. So this is what you said, and we're again taking this very seriously as we create our strategy for this coming year. The next item on the agenda is the bylaw amendment. So we've had a number of amendments over the years, and I really want hats off to Jalen Anderson for really helping us get this through over the line. Hopefully we'll get it over the line this evening with your support. There were a number of changes required, and it was time to update them. So one of the key things was Joe Bennett a few years ago introduced a concept of getting rid of the affiliates language and helping people feel more included, really moving to a full-on member model. And that's been very successful for us, but our bylaws were still referring to affiliates. So we needed to update the language in our bylaws. The International Coach Federation changed to the International Coaching Federation, so we needed to change it for all the references there as well. We are finding with proxies, we no longer have the hard copy proxies that people would send in. We wanted to ensure that we could have different types of technology for proxy voting in the future. So we expanded the reference of technology allowed for proxies. One of the other things, there was language around the auditors doing an audit every year. And in fact, I think for as long as I can remember, at least 7 years, the auditors always do a review. They don't actually do an audit, they do a review. So we wanted to make sure that the language in our bylaws supported what they actually do. And finally, there was a statement around the Code of Ethics, and we wanted to clarify the ICF Global Code of Ethics as opposed to the ICF Toronto Code of Ethics. Okay, so those were the main changes in the bylaw amendment. There was just one thing I wanted to note here. In the version that was first published of our bylaws in December, the draft for your review, there was a statement in there around only ICF Toronto members who paid the activity fee could vote. And that was an oversight, and that is no longer in the bylaws that are being proposed this evening. Okay, so every member can vote, whether you've paid the activity fee or not. Okay, so with that, I'd like to put a motion up and invite any questions that anyone has to just jump in and see there's some comments in the chat. Is there anybody want to you can unmute yourself if you have any questions at all.
Jane, it's Jalen. I just wanted to particularly note that we have formed quorum. So we are, very excited. Thank you so much for the last few people that just joined our call. We now have 120 people who have formed quorum based on 117 needed. So thanks so much.
Right. Okay. So I'd like to put forward the motion to adopt the updated chapter bylaws, the Fifth Amendment, as proposed here this evening. So you'll see a poll up there. We've got a number of votes in. Keep those votes coming. Okay. Looks like we have 84% of people have voted now, and we have 100%.
If there are no further votes, then we can cast this this particular motion and approve it.
Okay, I think I forgot to get a seconder. Can someone second this motion?
I'll second it, Jane. It's Barb.
Thank you, Barb. Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks everybody for your support on those bylaws, and a special, again, hats off to Jalen for ushering us through that process. It was a lot of work.
Thank you, and I'd love to recognize also Barb, who read a significant amount as well as Kim. So you too, Jane, right back at you.
Thank you. The next portion is the financial reporting. We need to review the financial statements, approve the auditor's review statements, and appoint auditors for the upcoming year. So just very briefly here, you will see that, oh, sorry, I've got my chat open here. You'll see the revenue for this year was $65,000, and that is before the conference. So this is the conference was profitable, and by the way, these are the financial statements that end February 29th. So this was last year. Last February was the financial period that is represented here. And the net gain or loss from events are what you'll see there. That represents the conference plus a few other events that we had. So overall, last year, we made a excess of revenue over expenses of $41,000. So we found our costs have gone down significantly when we're not having in-person events. We want to have in-person events again at some point when COVID is done, but that is right now favorable for our bottom line when we're not paying catering and so forth. So people, again, a lot of volunteers have worked very hard to keep the expenses down, and really hats off to everyone for their financial responsibility. Overall, year-over-year financial position, this is how much money we basically have in the bank. So we have overall assets of $134,000 as of last February, and liabilities of 29 for net assets of 104. Okay, so a good solid bank account that we have as a not-for-profit organization. And just out of interest, this hasn't been reviewed by the auditors at this point, but as of December 31st of this year, the most recent financial information that we have available to us, our net assets are 146,000. So again, another profitable year we anticipate by when this year ends on February 29th, 2022. Okay. So based on our review, nothing has come to the attention. Now this is from our MNP, who are our chartered professional accountants. That causes us to believe that the financial statements do not present fairly in all material respects the financial position of International Coaching Federation Toronto chapter as at February 28th, 2021, and the results of its operations and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. So basically, this is just saying that the professional accountants have approved our books. So I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the financial statements as reviewed by MNP LLP. Can I have a seconder? Can't see if your hand's up, so maybe you can just yell out your name.
Anne Hertaberry.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate that. So you'll see the motion there up on the table. Please get your votes in. Okay, I think we've pretty much got it there. Can I end this poll and show you what we've got?
That's
So
great,
again,
Jean.
okay, so we've got 100% in favor of approval of the financials. So thank you for your support there. Hossam Bakir is our amazing treasurer. He's worked so hard all through the year, every month reporting, keeping us up to date and managing our costs so effectively. So hats off to Hossam for his amazing work there. Next motion is to reappoint M&P LLP Chartered Accountants as the auditing firm to review our upcoming 2021-22 financial statements. Can I have a seconder, please?
Jenny Barkan.
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, so let's go back to the poll then. We can put the poll up. If there's any questions about this? Any discussion? And feel free to take yourself off mute anytime. Okay, we have 71% of people having participated now in the poll, and it's like 73%. So I think we're good to end this. And you'll see again that we have all the full support of the members for reappointing the auditors. It's always the exciting part of the minutes of the meeting. So huge thank you to Virtual Options. Kim is here tonight with us, is always just the backbone of this organization. So thank you, Kim. She's the keeper of all the organizational memory and keeps us out of trouble. Arlene is also great, helping us with our newsletter and among other things, Lori and Marianne, of course. So thank you, Kim, and please pass along our thanks to your colleagues as well. Next piece is the election of the board of directors for this coming year. And I want to start out by just saying thank you to the amazing board I had the pleasure of working with this year. Just outstanding individuals, really cooperating, and I think we tried to live out the values of the team and live out the ICF Toronto values. So thank you everybody for your amazing work and helping this organization be so strong as it is today. The board nomination process, I want to recognize Nance and Glennie and Barb, who chaired this process this year. A lot of work goes into the call for nominations and so forth. And here we are today doing the AGM, and Alicia and Barb are been working hard on the onboarding for our new members that are going to happen in February. And then the new members on the board will take place on March the 1st. They'll be transitioned into their new roles. It's with great sadness and excitement for what's ahead for these individuals. Robin, thank you so much for leading Evolve and for your amazing, outstanding leadership and keeping that conference right on top of everything, right? Every aspect of the project was so well done. So thank you. And Jalen, again, thank you for all of your work as the secretary for the board. Last number of years, Jalen brought a lot of governance expertise that was just absolutely vital for us. I learned a lot from Jalen, and she's always so helpful. And finally, Barb, what are we going to do with Barb not on the board? It's been 7 years. We have a maximum number of years to be on the board. And Barb, last year's president, and has just been absolutely outstanding. Again, I've learned a lot from Barb. She's a great guide for me and has just was really instrumental in working with Mina in starting Coach Connect, which is, I think, one of the things that ICF Toronto chapter really stands out for our community outreach, and the leadership that we had and the gift of coaching award.
Right.
So Barb, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for our chapter.
I
Please join
just
me,
saw them,
everybody, in
and I
giving
think
Barb
we
a
just need to, I'll
woo-hoo.
speak up and actually say it to Jane. Okay.
Okay. And next up is up for election, new to the board. We have really thrilled with the quality of the candidates who stepped forward this year and went through that selection process. Ralph Cochran has been involved in our PRISM and is in the awards program, working very closely with Alicia in the past, and we're thrilled to have him join us. Jatan Sanghava is joining us as well. He brings in great expertise around the marketing and communications and agile coach, so brings that technical aspect to us as well. And finally, Leslie Shank. Leslie was the co-leader of the EDI project this past year and is up for election as well. Shahab, every 2 year, our terms are 2 years long, so Shahab is up for re-election this year. And then these directors here, Hossam and Jenny, Gabby, Kirk, myself, Alicia, and Atopa are all in the going into our second year of our term. So overall, up for election today, re-election, and our midterm directors. So this represents our board slate for this coming year. So I'd like to propose a motion to accept the 2022-23 board slate as proposed, the chapter, by the nominating committee.
It's Julie Lottens. I can second for you, Jane.
Thank you, Julie. Appreciate that. Okay, we're seeing the votes coming in there. Okay, we have 79% of people, 81% participated here. So thank you, everybody, for getting your votes in. We have 2 people abstaining, and everyone else is yes to the board slate. So thank you for your support, and again, thanks to the nominating committee here. This chapter would not be, sorry, did we share those results? Hopefully you can see those. This chapter would not be where it is today without the tremendous dedication of the volunteers. We have our membership engagement team, our Evolve conference team, our awards team, programming, digital transformation, EDI, on top of our community outreach. So just please, if you see any of these people in the hallway, the virtual hallway in a Zoom room, please reach out and express gratitude to them. Everyone has worked so hard in support of the chapter, and really appreciate the numerous hours people have put in. And again, the quality of the team and the quality of the connections that people make when they volunteer. I know myself, I've just met a lot of friends through volunteering for ICF. So hopefully you will also recognize these people. So a big hello, congratulations, and our community outreach. These are all the people who volunteered with the community outreach portfolio through ICW or Coach Connect. So again, a huge thanks to everyone for their dedication and bringing their strength here to the community. So massive thank you to everyone. I would like to put forward a motion to close the AGM portion of the meeting.
Jane, it's Jasmine.
But just, before, sorry,
Yep.
we're going to open it up for any member items.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. We do have a couple of questions on the financials, just being raised by members in the chat.
Okay.
Particularly one question around the increase in year-over-year expense. If you wouldn't mind going back to that slide just to
Yes.
address that one as the first question.
Yeah, absolutely. So the, can you still see my screen there?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay. So the actually the expenses decreased significantly in the year over year, but there are some anomalies here in terms of the conference and also in terms of the accruals and how we calculate the when we take the membership dues. So we used to be on an anniversary basis, and we changed that a few years ago when we invited the new membership rules to transition, so that's whenever someone joins is when their year starts. So we get money in at different times of the year, and we put it aside if we haven't yet earned it in that year. Okay, so there's a new accrual. So this is something the accountants did to change how we account for things. But overall, our expenses went down from 85,000, to 24,000. But that doesn't really represent reality because of the accrual that we put in place, as well as because of the conference dollars. We had some credits from our conference that again was showing up in a different year. So
Thank you, Jane. There's
Jane,
also a follow-on question around the increase in board expense, particularly the third line down under expenses. It just has gone up over $1,000.
yes, yeah, good question. Yeah, that represents a conference that we had someone attend on behalf of the board. So something that we hadn't done the previous year, and that's what that increase represents.
Thank you very much. If you'd like to take yourself off mute or put a question in the chat, we're happy to answer further questions. I just wanted to also add to one point, which is in terms of profitability, the chapter is keeping 2 years of expenses in reserve. So the figure that Jane showed right after this, which showed our financial position, that is largely the amount that's kept in reserve. Thank you, Jane. I'm not seeing any further questions in the chat.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to, again, thank you. I recognize we went a few minutes over here, quite a few minutes actually, but I do appreciate everybody's attention, their participation tonight. And this is your association, so thank you so much for making it the great association that it is. And I'd like to introduce now Kirk Fox, who will, oh, do we need to do a formal motion to close, Jalen?
Yes, please.
Yep,
A motion
okay.
to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn the AGM. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll
second
second it.
Jane.
It's Joe Bennett.
Okay, thanks, Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed, abstentions? Okay, the AGM is officially closed.